What's going on? Kyle Fish here. It is 10:40 my time Eastern on the 21st. Making a video now because the market is super quiet. Volume is very low. Frankly, I think just taking this from a psychological standpoint, the market has rallied now over 1,500 points. As you can look at this chart in the Dow, you can see that we're basically hitting significant resistance from the prior high at 20,000, which is an all-time high in the Dow. Psychologically, though, we're overbought. Traders across the board probably are, well, not are, I mean, I'm one of them, and I'm definitely hesitant to start buying more longs and to kind of go long the market at this point for several reasons. One, we've rallied significantly. Two, the year is kind of winding down, so psychologically things are quieting with the holiday season. The new president is obviously going to change things also. So as you can see, volume has dipped the last 2 days. There was significant down day in terms of volume. When we couldn't break this all-time high from last week, we saw the gap yesterday. But again, I think overall the market is pretty quiet. That said, obviously, that's just my personal take. We're going to trade what kind of pops up and how the market and the scans kind of dictate what's available. But I think that's kind of what you're saying is the rest of the year probably is going to be pretty quiet. There might be some shorts that I see that could be advantageous to go short in. But usually I'm not going to be gung-ho about doing that the last week of the year. One of those that I'm continuing to watch, and the reason I haven't traded this short yet, although I love the setup to go short, is the fact that there was news associated with this. I think it's something medical related, pharma related, and I'm really hesitant to do that sometimes, just because if they issue a press release to follow up the prior press release, obviously you could see the spike again and we get caught. So that said, watching this closely to see if we can go short. To recap PHMD, we're out of this. We locked in 25%, but it did dip down to 245, and now it's starting to rally back up. So we locked in, a little premature, but at the end of the day, I'll take 25% any day of the week. So with that, let's kind of go through where we are with our open positions. Again, to recap, RSI 9, I have the wrong 13 EMA in here. Silly Kyle. There we go. All right, so again, making a doji candle here basically says the bulls and the bears torn. No one knows what to do here. Volume, frankly, pretty pathetic. So we're just going to hold. We're long. We're at a profit from 790s. It's stair stepping. It's very choppy, but it's, as you can see, the overall trend here is making higher lows there week over week. So again, just being patient with it, seeing how it plays out. KND long from 815 yesterday, new guy. I kind of kicked myself. This popped up on the watch list. If you're new here, this popped up on the watch list a week and a half ago, right when it crossed the 200 EMA, or the 20. I was hesitant because of the resistance here at the gap. I should have went long then. I kind of watched it continue to go up. It pulled back. I should have went long again. I didn't. Again, I was just hesitant given where the market is, which is fine. I mean, it's we're locking in solid winners over the last several weeks, so to be hesitant's okay. Right now what I'm looking at kind of strategically with this is it broke through this gap point, at 790s, and that's kind of an area now of support. So if we pull back to that level, that's fine. It would be kind of expected, but with the cross here in the 13 and 20 EMA, with the volume uptick above average, we're still in oversold territory. This is kind of one of the situations where it's not an ideal chart, but the risk is worth the reward. So we're going to play this out and just kind of see where it goes. So Watt is pretty interesting. I researched this a lot over last night. They have a very interesting product in terms of wireless charging of iPhone devices. Again, I'm not a engineer, so take this with a huge grain of salt. But what it seems is they have a very strong connection and a possible link to Apple. There might be pending news. So we're already at a nice profit in this. We went long in the 15s, I think. Give me a second. Let me go look where we went long in. Yeah, 1571 we went long. Apologies for the delay there. So we're already at a nice profit, but we're still not even close to being overbought. So I think this trend, if news pops on this with any deal with Apple, this thing will take off. Do I know that's coming? Obviously not. If I did, I would be buying call options out the ass. But I obviously don't know that's the case for the time being. Hitting resistance here at 18, that's fine. If we pull back, that's okay. Just going to watch this play out. But fundamentally, this is definitely something that's interesting across the board with the products they're making. So food for thought. DDD is pulling back. We're at a loss here. Very unfortunate to see this. I expected this to test 16. That said, if you want to take a really technical look at it, we can do that. Our stop loss is much lower. I think it's at the 14 level. So if you kind of looked at that from the standpoint of what's support, what's resistance, you can see we're trading in this channel. So, from the low, hit resistance, pulled back, bounced, hit it again, but made a higher high, pull back. The theory here is that you should start to see this reverse and test 16, which is what I'm expecting. So of all of our positions, this is slightly concerning, but again, we're not at our stop loss point yet, so I'm not really worried extensively yet. So let's just see how this kind of plays out. What else we got? We talked about K&D, we talked about Scene, we talked about Watt, we talked about DD, NLS. How could I forget? So NLS, I love this chart. There's no resistance above it. We're still not even close to being overbought. Every dip here, you just saw people scoop up shares. So again, that's positive news. And again, you're not going to just see a continuation all the way to 25, right? You're going to see it kind of stair step up. So again, no really updates here in this position yet. I think we're basically break even for the time being. I'm not going to go through the entire watch list, just given it's midday. But one thing that a member actually alluded me to was AGEN. So this isn't there yet. It's not broken through and held the 13 EMA. What I think is probably going to happen here, it's going to pull all the way back here in RSI and then bounce again. And if it goes through the 13 EMA, like it did here, it's probably November 9th, it tested the 13 EMA and you just saw it break through the RSI, a 30 point and then a negative 70 in the Williams indicator. It rallied about $1. So, that's what I would look for again. It would be a quick trade probably if it does trigger, but for the time being, we're not going to really do anything with this yet. So again, that's kind of the recap for the day. We will talk as the day kind of progresses, and then obviously again tonight, tomorrow, and for the rest of the year. So if you have questions, shoot me an email, guys.